I just spent $1,800 improving the feel of my bike. And I just spent $400 improving the feel of my bike. Does expensive equal better? Let's find out. We have two nearly identical full suspension mountain bikes that we've been modifying to become high performance trail bikes. One gets expensive parts and one gets cheap parts. Then after each episode, the bikes are returned back to stock with the exception of tires and pedals. That way we can test them to see which parts are worth spending your hard-earned money on. Today we have a whole slew of parts to install to improve the feel of our bikes, often called contact points. Your contact points are the connection with your machine, and to merge man with machine, upgrading your contact points can make a huge difference for 3 reasons. Number 1 is control, and your contact points give you the confidence to negotiate through rough mountain bike trails to absorb the bumps and vibrations so you can grip it and rip it. Number 2 is comfort. If your bike is stiff or you just aren't comfortable with your setup, you can develop arm pump. And that's when you're riding over bumpy mountain bike trails and you may be gripping a little bit too tight. That causes your forearm muscles to get pumped up. The muscles swell up so much that it cuts off the blood flow to your hands and they go numb and you lose grip strength. That's super dangerous and can lead to crashes, but luckily a lot of our upgrades today will help avoid that. Number 3 is looks. When you look good, you feel good. And that may sound funny to some beta males out there, but when you love your bike, you love the way it looks, you're gonna have more confidence and just be happier when riding it. So to achieve these 3 goals, we bought 6 contact point upgrades for our bikes. Grips, bars, stem, dropper posts, seat, and brakes. Altogether, my upgrades cost $1,800, and mine cost $400. And in this episode, we're gonna install all 6 of our contact point upgrades, talk about how each one of them should work in theory, and then put them head to head on the trail to see how they perform. Let's get this started. While the bikes are disassembled, I'd like to thank this video's sponsor, FlexiSpot. I've been using a FlexiSpot powered sit-to-stand desk for almost 2 years now, and it's perfect. When I get sick of sitting all day, I press a button and the desk goes up to a pre-programmed height that I set up. But what I like most about the powered desk is when I'm sitting, I can make micro adjustments to the height to feel comfortable when working on these videos or long gaming sessions. Plus, a USB port on the keypad is my #1 way to charge devices. But FlexiSpot just came out with a new desk called the E7 Plus 4-leg standing desk. I went with a black walnut desktop, and these desks are super easy to assemble using all the same tools that I'd use on my bike. The 4 legs for this desk are girthy for ultimate stability, and they can lift up to 440 pounds, but the best thing is, it won't wobble. Overall, I highly recommend FlexiSpot desks. They're very reasonably priced, and if you're on a budget, check out the E5 model. I'll even put a promo code in the description with my FlexiSpot link, and any purchases directly support this high-low series. For the stock bar and stem, they're not bad, but they feel pretty heavy, and I'm sure they're built super strong to avoid warranty claims. Oh, that's heavy. I consider a cockpit upgrade to be a part of the tuning process, getting the bike personalized for you, and aftermarket handlebars are built with user experience in mind, designed by really smart engineers with decades of experience. So I went with 1UP carbon bars and a 1UP stem for $250, together weighing 415 grams. 1UP carbon bars are known for their vertical compliance, able to flex up and down to absorb trail vibrations, basically like suspension for your hands. Yeah, I really like 1UP carbon bars. I use them on a lot of my builds. They feel like snappy when you're dancing through the single track, and they do reduce hand fatigue, but I don't have the budget for those on low bike, so I went with their aluminum version, the new 1UP aluminum bar. 1UP claims that they have the same vertical compliance, just like the carbon, because the shape is the same. Plus the aluminum is more durable, but it is a little bit heavier. So these bikes feel a little small. They're mediums and I'm 5'9". I feel a little bit crammed and I probably should have went with a large, but there's some things I can do to help that. So if we go with longer stems, say 50 millimeters, maybe we won't feel so crammed, and it also shifts our weight forward which helps with front end traction. I could have bought a Zoom stem off Amazon for like 10 bucks, but I have a used Renthal stem on hand that I bought for $50. It sounds kind of weird, but buying a used stem is a great way to get a discount on a part that doesn't offer any performance. It just looks cool. So grips come down to your personal preference, but we really want to compare the aluminum versus carbon bars, so both bikes are going to get the same grips. These are the 1UP thick grips. They have a soft rubber compound with some ridges for that locked in feel, plus a bulge for your palm, all this to maximize grip and minimize arm pump. Oh, and just a reminder, if you want to buy any of these parts, any of our tools, or even get one of these polygons for yourself, use our link in the description. Man, when did you become such an influencer? I'll even throw a 10% off coupon code down there for you too. Thankfully, these days, almost all mountain bikes are sold with a dropper post. The stock dropper is a Trans X with 150 millimeters of travel. It works fine, it goes up kind of slow sometimes, but the dropper lever is a generic, cheapy little thing hinging on a small bolt and taking a lot of force to push in and activate the dropper. So for my budget, I'm going to upgrade the lever only and see if that makes a difference. I bought a 1UP V3 dropper remote for $60. This hinges on a huge bearing that takes way less force to activate the dropper, plus a rubber thumb pad. This is pretty cool. And I went with one of the best upgrades in the world, the RockShox Reverb Axis Dropper for $861. This is fully electronic, no messing with cables, and it's the fastest dropper that I've ever used. I love these things. Plus, the way to install the seat is pretty slick, and if you've ever changed out your seat, you know what I mean. Well, my dropper lever upgrade does feel a lot better, but I just noticed a big problem. This seat post collar is completely cracked. Why is your bike always breaking, dude? Yeah, dude, I think the low bike might be cursed. The reason why this is a problem is I could activate the dropper and this collar could just break off and the seat post just flies right out. Haha, yeah, ejecto-cito, cuz. Yeah, so I'm stealing your dropper for safety reasons. Upgrading your brakes is important to anyone trying to go fast on the trail. Intense repeated braking can lead to brake fade, and that's when your brakes become so hot, they become less effective. Our stock Shimano MT200s have 2 pistons front and rear with 180mm rotors. These aren't bad, they stop you, they get the job done, but they do lack braking power, requiring me to pull in the brakes earlier to counteract the lack of power. And more time spent pulling the brakes means more chance of brake fade and also fatigues the rider. So we're both gonna be doubling our piston count, going to 4 piston brakes front and rear, and I'm going with SRAM's DB8 brakes that were $150, and Highbike gets the all-new Maven Ultimate that were $600. So let's compare the differences between both brakes. Both brakes use mineral oil, something new for SRAM. They usually use dot fluid. Both have 4 ceramic pistons, but the Mavens are much larger. Plus the Maven caliper is larger in size and supposedly handles heat a lot better. Well, the Maven has extra large pads compared to the DB8s, and the big difference is the brake lever itself. Inside it has a swing link, so the closer the lever gets to the grip, the more braking power that you have. But for consistency, I want to use the same size rotor as stock, So we'll both get SRAM HS2 180mm rotors so we can see which brake kit is the best. Well, everything is installed, just a few little odds and ends to take care of, and then we can take these to the trail. Well, this has been my favorite episode to date on this high-low. Just the customization, like these bikes look so cool now. And I rode both bikes last night getting the brakes bedded in. Dude, what is up with your brake hose? Dude, I had to watch my kids all weekend. My wife was out of town. But anyway, when I rode this bike yesterday, I got a little bit of arm pump with those stock bars, so I'm hoping that this will solve that. But first up is the braking test. We're gonna climb this hill here, come screaming around the corner. Once we hit this cone, apply full force braking to see which brakes stop earlier. With this little customization, you know, the new grips, the longer stem, this bike feels like it's completely different. I'm shocked, dude. All right, here we go, no pedals. I'm just coasting from the top. All right, 25 miles an hour, 26, here it goes. There it is, right there. That's a long braking distance. Oh, man. All right, my turn. All right, here we go, getting up speed, 26 miles an hour. Here it goes. Oh. Wow. Dang, man, that was a huge difference from the Mavens. That's like 10, 20 feet right there. So the Mavens are definitely more powerful, but let's go see how it works on the trail. Oh, real quick, before we get lap times, I want to see which dropper is faster. I'm just going to turn slow motion on this camera. All right, we're set up, we're ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go. Man, I'm actually super surprised. Just replacing the lever on this one completely fixed the slow seat post problem I was having. But if you've ever messed with a Reverb Axis dropper, this is the fastest, most responsive dropper in the game. It's actually kind of scary when it comes up and hits you in the butt sometimes. So high bike wins this one if we're talking about the best, but if we're talking about best value, low bike wins. $50 lever, fix my problems. Next up is the small bump compliance test, and we're going back to the trusty medieval flow trail because that has been getting chewed up by the rain. It is super rocky right now, and it's a perfect test to see if these bars and grips can help reduce arm pump, and we'll see if they're faster too. Well, everybody said that they want me to go first, so here it goes, medieval, dropping. Definitely a lot smoother on this chattery section, but the biggest difference is the turning. Oh, way better body positioning. Yeah. Feels slower though. Oh yeah. That felt pretty good, dude. I really think it was the grips and the stem making the biggest difference. I mean, I can't really tell because we're back with a cheap, crappy suspension, so good luck, Evan. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, it turns so well. Yeah. Oh yeah. Feels faster than high bike. All right. As much as I wanted to say that these aluminum bars are just as good as the carbon bars, I feel like the carbon bars have a little bit better compliance because I had a little bit of arm pump after that run. But overall, I really feel like this bike is faster, and it's because it's lighter. I don't know why it's so much lighter. I have no clue. But let's still go see the times. High bike ran an average of 40.1, half a second faster than stock, and low bike, after going after high bike, was consistently faster at 1.5 seconds. That brings the contact points cost per second saved on Medieval to $213, and that's better value than the suspension. And I really think it came down to personalizing the stem, but now it's time for some chunk. Believe it or not, powerful brakes can make you faster. So on our next trail, Dragon Scales, there's some tight corners that require braking. Well, with my new powerful brakes, I can brake as late as possible because I know that I can stop. Also, I'm not sure if this has a name, but these powerful brakes allow me to do a quick stab, and then I can actually push off the bars and change lines, and that's how I'm gonna go set a PR right now. Oh, can't wait for this one. One pedal off the top. Here we go. Yeah. Oh yeah. So much more control than before. Whoa, the bad line though. Yeah. I missed my flight attendant though. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Man, that was crazy. Well, that went all right. I definitely noticed that I could brake a little bit later, go a little bit faster, and it was good to see that I was 5 seconds faster than stock. I've always liked one-up bars because they're like secondary suspension, but with the stock suspension, the one-up bars can only really flex so much, and it still felt like I was riding stock suspension, so I would definitely upgrade the fork before the bars. But hey, what are you doing with my bike? Dude, I think I got like multiple slices in my tire. It is going flat. I gotta borrow this back wheel, dude. All right, here we go, my turn. Let's get this. Yeah. Okay, here we go, heavy braking. A little bit less power than those Mavens. I definitely have to drag the brakes a little longer than those Mavens. I think that would slow me down in the long run. Whoa. Wow. And time. Dang, dude, new series record. Finally got under a minute. No way, dude, how? I think I just had a super good line on one of the chicanes. I went to go slow down and it didn't slow me down like the Mavens, and I was going a lot faster and I just kind of went with it, hooked a super good line, and I think I just maintained a lot more speed that way. Dang it, man. See, I should have went second, but on the finale, when we install all the parts on these bikes, man, I'm gonna smoke low bike. So contact points are weird. If we take the cost per second from the Climb, Medieval, and Dragon Scales, combine those together, suspension was actually a better cost per second value, but with contact points, it's like, I always say, if it makes you happy and makes you comfortable, I say buy whatever you can afford and it's always gonna be worth it. Yeah, I wonder if these are worth it though. What is that? How much did you spend? Thanks so much for watching High Low. Next episode will be out June 29th. And don't forget, FlexiSpot is running a sale on their sit-to-stand desk. Plus, I'll have a promo code in the description.